Fast Market, everyone. Kevin Hinks back here for our cash tag segment. We got a special segment where we're just shooting from the hip here, this whole segment, because what are we going to do? We're going to talk about Super Bowl commercials and the data that they provided from LikeFolio. And to look at that, first and foremost, Shawn Cruz is here with Jenny Horn, the prodigal daughter, returning to Fast Market. This is your first time back at the show. Hello, Jenny.
I know. Who let us do this?
I just kind of powered through.
Yeah.
I don't think I asked permission. I just went away with it. All right, now, let's bring in the co-founder of LikeFolio.com, Mr. Landon Shawn, to give us the data that LikeFolio found on the Super Bowl. Landon, this was a fun little project we set out on. What did you get? I mean, we have so much to talk about here. We could talk about the whole show for an hour on this data. What do you got, Landon?
High scoring. It came down to the last play, last drive. So, everyone was a winner there. But the big winner, when we look at the data, we look at, every commercial mentioned, every product that people are talking about during the Super Bowl. But actually, of it all was really Rihanna and her brand Fenty. That actually combined for 60% of the mentions when you combine that with all of the commercial mentions. So there were more people talking about the halftime performance, Rihanna and her product Fenty, than all of the other commercials combined. So that was the big winner by far. Really surprising there to see that. And she actually used the product during the show. A huge win for Louis Vuitton. They own about 50%. They do own 50% from their incubator Kendo in that product in Fenty. So huge jump up there. 800% increase in mentions. And other potential winners there are Sephora, again Louis Vuitton, because they have exclusive rights to the product or the skincare part of the product. And then they also sell the cosmetics, and Ulta sells the cosmetics there. So Fenty is definitely the big winner of all of them. But when you go and you switch gears and just look at the commercials, it's actually Farmer's Dog, which is a private label private company. They're not public. They had by far the biggest win on the most mentions. It was a sort of a tearjerker commercial talking about owning a dog for life, and it's extending the life of your dog. I'm actually a customer of this product. It's a fantastic product. It's human grade food. So the idea is to feed your dog and he'll live a lot longer. Feed this high quality product. Now that is going to have impact for all of the competition, really, of which I think probably one of the biggest is going to be Chewy. So I would say that their success, Farmer's Dog success, is going to be negative impact for Chewy, and I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up getting acquired by one of their competition. Maybe even like Hills for Colgate-Palmolive or one of the other companies. So the other big winners you can see there are Pepsi with Popcorners with their nod to Breaking Bad, and then Skechers with Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. So they, the big names were the people who delivered here, except for the Farmer's Dog commercial, which is just, regular actors, no big names, and just a great story. The other one that I think got a lot of attention was Tubi, where everyone was looking around for who had the remote and who was screwing things up. They kind of messed with people a little bit. They made it look like someone was changing the input of the TV to Tubi. So that was a really clever commercial. But those, I think, are the big winners, with Farmer's Dog definitely leading the way.
Now, this is why, Landon, Jenny Horn is on the show today, because Kevin doesn't know what Fenty is. Do you know what Fenty is? I don't even know what it is.
It's makeup. It's essentially a makeup, skincare makeup brand. Yeah.
Okay. I knew that.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. This is herein lies the problem with the disconnect. I'm sitting watching, going, okay, these outfits are silly that these people have on. I don't like the outfits. I mean, if I was suspended up in the air like that, I would be freaking out, and I'm not afraid of heights, and I'd still be freaking out, Jenny.
That was my biggest takeaway, too. I was like, this woman is pregnant and on this very wobbly stage. I couldn't get over that. It was very Squid Games feeling to me.
But, Landon, there were so many hits and misses on this. Like, I really liked the Dunkin' Donuts, right? I thought that was funny. Why? Because Ben Affleck did his Boston accent, and it was a little self-deprecating, which I kind of liked. And Doritos, I thought the triangle was kind of cool, right? But Shawn, M&M's. if you have a food product and you show people basically gagging when they try your food, that can't be a good outcome, Landon. Shawn, I mean, tell me what was your favorite, what was your worst?
Yeah, I mean, so I think I like the Downy ad just because I'm a big Billy McBride fan, so I like that commercial.
Okay, all right.
But the M&M's one, I thought maybe they were doing a two-parter.
What were they thinking?
Like they introduce a problem in one commercial, and then like in the second half they have a commercial where they clear it.
Yeah.
But now everyone walked away. It was like, was it even like oysters or something
So
in that?
it's been like a month-long ad campaign where they've basically they've gotten a lot of backlash for their different M&M characters. So this was, for some reason, their response. I think it was a complete fail. I'm curious if Landon saw any failure in that, because to me that was missed the mark. If people at home don't know about this ad campaign, then you're like, clam M&Ms, I don't get it.
Yeah, I tell you, I agree with all your consensus here. I think that they definitely missed the mark. The good news is that they didn't really make the top 10 as far as mentions, right? So I think people were talking about a lot of other things, and it was mostly geared towards, the successes of the commercials that were out there. So that's the good news for M&M, is they weren't like number 2 or 3 on our list with a failure, but I do think that they definitely missed.
Yeah, I thought, frankly, Bud Light with Miles Teller. As simple as that commercial was, it was still good. It was still effective because he was on there. I also thought, it was a little tricky to figure out what John Hamm and Brie, doing the ham and cheese. That was a little tricky, but I got it eventually. The light went on, but there were so many of them that were misses. I like Bradley Cooper on T-Mobile. Didn't really get it. I thought, how about this one? Will Ferrell with GM, a good commercial, but that led to more searches for Tesla, Landon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's how dominant they are. When you say EV, everybody thinks Tesla. So, that's hilarious. You're exactly right on that one. But there's also some other stuff I'd like to talk about. Not just the commercials. Some of the other data that we pulled in. For example, sports betting is up about 10% on a year-over-year basis, and the winners that we're looking at as far as moving the needle, FanDuel #1, DraftKings #2, and then last is actually Barstool. So FanDuel doing well. And then when you look at what people were eating, Papa John's made the biggest move of all the pizza makers. And then Grubhub made the biggest move as far as food delivery. So we got a lot of data inside the Super Bowl. The commercials, I think, are the most interesting, but I just wanted to point those other ones out as well.
And DraftKings had an interesting one because they did like a login now and get a free $5 bet, which the bookies probably love because I logged in and I found the most high payout, low probability bet because it's a free shot.
Of course.
All right, if it hits, I get $100 and something dollars or whatever. Probably won't. The bookies probably love taking the other side of it. It's like a market maker. Like
mission accomplished though, because they got you to log in for $5,
and they got
you to log in.
And it took a minute, so everyone was logging in. I think their servers were briefly overloaded.
But absent was all crypto. 4 crypto ads last year, none this year, which I have to think
amazing that absolutely no ads in all these commercials. $7 million for 30 seconds, and no crypto showed up. That is incredible.
I have to think that's linked to FTX, the whole fallout. They just want to stay away right now.
Or they don't have the money to get involved. Yeah, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, $7 million for 30 seconds. Landon, give us your final thoughts.
You know what? Final thoughts, I would say that, speaking of sports betting, if anybody lost money on the Eagles, I think they only had themselves to blame. Jim Cramer posted a picture of himself at the Super Bowl in Eagles gear and said,
and there it is.
So, I mean, you had all the information you needed to bet on the Chiefs at that point.
There it is. I mean, you know what, Landon? That is the perfect segue back to us. Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio.com. Thank you, as always, for coming on. Now, guys.